Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to the Fun Time Super Terrific Happy Hour. Welcome, Jandler.
Welcome, Choey.
There we go. There we go.
You almost
Can't
got
get that
started.
weak. Can't get that weak from a uncarbonated can.
Yeah.
No, so Mrs. Tribbiani was telling me that her work the other day that they do like a lot of I guess it's not customer, what is it, employee appreciation type stuff, and so like they'll have like feasts for like the whole organization, like food out there, breakfast stuff, or they do sometimes like employee appreciation, like wellness days for the whole day where they got like activities, and it's just like basically a blow off day, right?
Is there any work that gets done?
No,
I guess not those days, huh?
No, like it's like the whole day is just like you're not supposed to work. You're just supposed to come and enjoy and eat and be merry, kind of whatever. So,
sounds awesome.
She was telling me, yeah. Well, so she's like, oh, and then they had these, they had breakfast tacos and donuts, non-alcoholic mimosas, and I was like, well, I was like, isn't that just orange juice? She's like, oh no, they put something in there to make it like kind of have that sweeter taste like a mimosa. And I was like, oh okay, because I'm like, mimosa just like in orange juice. Like you're just like, well, we'll make it non-alcoholic. I'm like, it's just juice.
You're like, yeah, sour wheat juice or whatever. You're like, what the?
Yeah, I'm like, wait, what? It's like
what? Was it Milwaukee's Best? Who had that commercial back in the day? Peter Beerface. Was that?
I think it was Milwaukee's Best. Yeah.
That's what you got me thinking. That's like orange juice that you leave out in the sun too long. You're like, oh my god.
Well, like I remember working way back in the day when I was at that pizza, that Italian restaurant, Saliano's back in the day.
Yeah, way back in the day.
Dude was ordering like a sandwich. I think it was from Beef and Brew. I don't know, whatever. Like one of the sandwich places was that it was up there. And he was like, "Yeah, I want the BLT." He was like, "I don't." He's like, "No extra tomato though." I'm like, "So you just want like a B, like
B in the L?"
Yeah, I'm like, "Give me a BLT. Hold the lettuce and tomato." It's like, you just want bacon on a sandwich? You're like, why are you paying so much money for bacon and bread? I'm like, what's wrong with you, man?
Had a heart attack. All right, so it is our November 17th episode. By the way, so the holidays for today, it's International Students Day, man.
I'm not feeling this.
I know you're reading the second one, the middle one. It's also World Vasectomy Day, with the holiday all men like to avoid, right?
Yeah.
And then, like I was telling you offline before we jumped on, it's also National Reuben Day. I got a teacher friend. Tuesday. And I'll tell that story too. But I got a teacher friend. Her boyfriend is named Reuben, and so I've been telling her. Actually, I knew about this day like a month plus ago, right? And I was letting her know, and I was like, "Hey, what are you gonna get him for his day? Like, what are you gonna do for him? You gonna throw him a party? You gonna give him a gift? Blah blah blah." And she's like, "I was like, tell you what, Choey and Jandler got you covered. We got you." So, but I asked her today. I was like, "Hey, Reuben's your boyfriend, right?" She's like, "Yeah." And I was like, "I just wanted to make sure, so I want to come online and say something to where it's like, like they're hot and heavy." And then she listens to it. And she's like, who the said we're hot and heavy? So I had to send her the clip from Seinfeld, and so she laughed at it or whatever. But
yeah.
But
I'm not.
But I told her your joke Tuesday, your Reuben Tuesday, and so I texted her.
Along Came Polly or whatever was that?
I couldn't figure out the dance move or whatever, but that looks right now. But I sent her the text Tuesday morning. I was like, "Hey, it's Reuben Tuesday. It's like if he goes to Ruby Tuesday and tells him his name is Reuben, he can get a free meal." And she said she told him, and he's like, "For real?" And then she's like, "Yeah, it's Jandler. It has to be true." Right? And so she was. So I just laughed, and I was like, I was just making that up,
Because I think it was Along Came Polly. It was the one with Ben Stiller. I just remember Ruben Pfeffer.
I think that was the what's his name? I know the actor. I can't think of it. He's a big guy, but I know what you're talking about. I think you're right.
Anyway,
Along Came Polly does sound correct. So, but I told her, I was like, this episode is not going to be all about Reuben, but I am going to title it "All About the Reuben." So we'll talk about the history of the Reuben, some famous Reubens, but I also wanted to, like I said, send out the Ruby Tuesday there, and then real quick, he sent me a text earlier. Make sure we read this on here. It's it says if you go to Universal Toyota, go find Reuben. He's got a nice beard going on, and just mention to him that you heard about his cars dealership or him selling cars on the Choey and Jandler show. He'll still charge you full price, but he'll give you a fist bump and a nice "What's up" nod. So again, just mention us what you think about it.
Okay, it's all.
You should just go do that, man. Tell him,
Be like, hey, are you Reuben?
You can go be that. You can go be that inflatable balloon guy. Off the side of the road, just dancing. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, dude, let's just me and you both go do that. The Choey and Jay show.
Let's just skip work, man, and just dance all day long. After a while, you're like, man, I'm a little tired of this.
What's wrong with those people? Look at those two old middle-aged men. What are they doing? Why is that one holding us back?
When I was in the Navy, we went to Maui, and I joked. Actually, I actually did it for a little bit. I got there was the Old Navy, and we got in a window, and we just were wearing clothes just in the window, like living mannequins for 5 minutes or whatever until they kind of ushered us out of the way. Hey, why don't you buy something or get the out of here? So.
It's time for the new Navy, not the old Navy.
So I was thinking, man. I'm not thinking. I should say I was noticing. I don't think ADHD exists anymore. To me, it's more like ADVHD. They're very hyper, dude. Now it's half my class, and they can't sit still. They're all over the place. I'm constantly snapping. Hey, pay attention, waving stuff. We have to put on shows.
What was that? What was it? Ocean's 11. You're like Matt Damon. I'm getting it. The note, or no, is it Ocean's 11 or Ocean's 12 where he's like, the nose plays, and
that's 13. That was 13.
Was that
yeah.
I knew it was movies. I don't know which number. Oh, my age.
I liked 11 and 13. 12 is all right, but 11 and 13 I thought were way better. But you notice that in the upper grades, there's a lot of inattention ability.
Shoot, I noticed that in a lot of the upper grades with teachers and stuff, man. Nobody pays attention to nothing anymore. It's I think
people are just lounging, right?
I think TikTok and all these I blame it on the social media.
Just Choey.
It's just and I don't know if I had a conversation with you or if I had it with somebody at work at some point. Not recently. If you go back and watch them old school cartoons that we had back in the day.
Yeah.
And there was a little more not a ton, but there was a little more I felt like there's more dialogue that happens before they switch to the next scene compared to your job and your stuff now where it's it's just constant. Every 5 seconds there's a new scene. It's just boom, switch, and TikTok and all that videos the same thing. You just scroll through videos and tweets and posts and what is it called now? Is it called tweets still on X on X?
You've asked me that before, and I'm not enough of an expert to be able to answer that question.
Oh, you're not an expert? I see.
Yeah, so no. It's that's why we keep saying we need our intern. He's like a 15-year-old intern, just one of your kids would be like, hey, you tell us what this means. You do this for us.
We can just have a cut to when we have a video cast.
Yeah.
Hey, so and so, what does this mean? And that we just look at them and they're scrolling on their phone. And we're like, why do we even pay you?
But yeah,
you don't pay us.
Well, that's why we don't pay you, because of that.
You're lazy.
Yeah. Dude, I've also noticed. I feel like Crisscross is making a comeback. These kids love to wear their hoodies and stuff backwards, and so I credit Crisscross. That, or people don't teach these kids how to get their clothes, put their clothes on, and get dressed. Kids are always wearing the hoodie backwards so they can put it over their face, and then they walk around they're the stuff that you and I would do if we were younger. And you're like, dude, take that off your face before you like run into something.
You should just do it and be like, that's it. Like, you're done. No more answering questions for you. They just put their hood over their face. Be like, you're done.
And you can put some like, what is it, like some chloroform on it, put on their face and just knock them out. Like, nap time.
Like, I don't know what you're saying why they don't behave in your class. They're wonderful in mine. It's like, they don't make it sound.
Walk in and you're just playing tranquil music, candles burning. You're like, shh, don't mess the vibe. We're really cool. We're really calm out here. So,
dude, I don't know if it was mine or I think it was somebody over in San Antonio. It was either San Antonio or Houston, I think. Where I saw like in the news like a month or so ago, like it was like a special needs unit, and like the teacher was giving the kids melatonin gummies to keep them calm. Yeah,
that doesn't sound like what happened to the teacher?
Oh, they're on leave. I mean, the article said they were put on leave. I'm like, you're gonna fire that person.
I was say that's it. Just put on leave. I mean, I guess they have to do their due diligence, right?
I guess so. But I just remember I was like, geez, that's one way for classroom management right there.
Well, I one of the teachers was telling me today they saw online that lady that got shot by that 6-year-old, which I thought was in Florida. I guess it was in Virginia.
Yeah.
She's suing the district for $40 million. I was like, man. And then they said the district's attorneys tried to come back and say, no, it's a workman's comp claim or whatever. Like, what the it is, you know. So, but I was like, man,
you need to watch the resolution of that thing. Maybe I figure out how we can fund our podcast indefinitely.
You find that person. Hey, just sponsor us for like a week.
No, I'm talking like I'll give some kid something at school and take a bullet for the team.
Take it for the team. You're like,
can't use my right arm anymore, but I'm a millionaire.
Totally worth it. Luckily, you're left-handed, you know.
Like, it's all cool until I have to open a jar of pickles.
Yeah, it's just like,
oh, this sucks. You've been losing a lot of weight lately. I'm like, I've only got one arm that works, so can't do as much.
We'll do this a little out of order. So, how's this last week going before break time? You know, we're 1 day away, dude.
Yeah, I know. Right? And mine's mine are easy days on Fridays when I do have them. And I found out that I get to leave early tomorrow, so and get credit. So I'm leaving at noon.
Are the kids going there tomorrow?
No.
Or is it one of those? Okay.
Kids
have
off every Friday. It's just I got to work every other.
Well, I forget it is. Well, you said it's even May? Because kids are off every Friday.
Like August, May, they got it's like 5-day week for everybody. But I mean, we're far away from May, sir.
That's true. Way to put everybody down. Bring us down. Bring us back to reality, Choey.
Well, I mean, shoot. Thanksgiving break next week. 3-week power through 3 weeks, and then you got. It's all down.
We're going to museum December 13th, so a little holiday there. And then we get the nice winter parties, you know, because that's what we call them, the 15th. And see how hopped up these kids are on sugar and whatnot. So,
which I think is great. I mean, I get you call it winter breaks, the Christmas breaks. You don't hurt anybody's feelings.
Yeah.
And this isn't me being one way or another, so nobody can get their panties in a bunch. But how many like other type of religious like decorations you ever see at schools besides Christmas type decorations? Because I don't see a lot of Jewish stuff or any sort of.
Well, some of the schools I was at in Illinois, they purposely put up things like Hanukkah stuff or actually Hanukkah is more the other stuff I saw. I don't really see anything like Kwanzaa or whatever as much.
Well, I think you should. I'm not saying you shouldn't. It's just like one of those like people get all pissy about stuff, but then at the same time, it never changes.
Yeah, it's true. It is certainly true. So So this next part, this is inspired, sir, by your wonderfully placed Washington's Dream, skit. Yeah. So and I sent that to some teachers and they all loved it too. So I looked up the land of Gallon. All right. So this is so I've actually taught this before, this way. I learned it in Illinois, but it's the land of Gallon. Okay.
There's words right there. You don't have to make up anything. What are you talking about?
I've heard this story enough. I'm just gonna freelance it. So
the land land of gallon for customary capacity. Welcome to the land of gallon. Once upon a time, there was a royal place called the land of gallon. In the land of gallon, there lived 4 queens. Each royal queen had a prince and a princess. Each prince and princess had 2 children, and each child was 8 years old. Now, how does knowing about the land of gallon help us learn about capacity? Let's find out. The G in gallon stands for the largest unit of measurement in capacity. You guessed it, the gallon. Remember the 4 queens in the land of gallon? Each Q stands for the next largest unit, the quart. There are 4 quarts in 1 gallon. How many princes and princesses did each queen have? Each queen had 2 prince and princess. And the P in prince and princess stands for pints. There are 2 pints in each quart. How many children did each prince and princess have? You got it, 2. The C in children stands for cups, and there are 2 cups in each pint. And how old was each child? Each child happened to be 8 years old, and the 8 represents the number of fluid ounces in each cup. Knowing about the land of gallon will help you to remember your units of capacity. Always draw a picture and always remember the land of gallon.
How many ounces do you think are in a gallon?
Well, I mean, I know it's 128.
It is, yeah, you're right. How do you know that? Did you use the math? Did you use the clues here?
Just memorize.
The memorize?
Memorization.
How many pints then in a gallon?
4? Oh, it's 8. See, I memorized my butt, huh?
You're like, yeah, I get it now. You're like 8 pints.
Well, because it's 4 quarts.
Yeah, it is 4 quarts.
4 quarts, 8 pints.
That's why there's 4 queens, and then that's 4 times 2. That's why they're 8 pints. How about this, sir? How many liters in a gallon?
3.78.
No, you're supposed to say nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
No, that's the thing that's crazy. Is you sit there. I mean, it is what it is. We live where we live. We're stuck with doing what we do. But that just shows you how the standard form. The standard form is the liters, milliliters thing, right?
That's the metric system.
Or metric, and then ours is standard.
Yeah, ours is standard, customary, whatever.
They have to make up some crazy story where I'm like, what? We're talking about it in the land of gallon. There's 4 queens, and I was like, what?
So you remember, we've also made a gallon robot before, or whatever. But it's so crazy.
And it's just like you make up this crazy story. I mean, you just put it in the context of anything else. Like if I was to sit there and be like, man, Jandler, on the way to school today, I was driving to work and I spun out, and then the zombie came and it was at the stop sign, and I had to go through the stop sign, right, in order to hit the thing. And then the milk truck came and it blew up, and there was a fire, and Arnold Schwarzenegger came out. And he was like, "Get the chopper," and we just ran. And that's how you know the standard form of measurement for inches to feet or some crap like that. You'd be like, why don't you just go 12 inches in a foot and 3 feet in a yard? It takes more effort to remember how many queens were in the land.
I hear your point. I also just think it just goes to show, and that's what makes me laugh that skit so much, is it just shows how absurd our system is. It's it's just so easy to be metric and be like, okay, move a 0. Okay. It's so simple.
Instead we're like, we're not going to do it your way. Like a stubborn little child.
Yeah.
No. We don't want to.
Now we're putting down the system, and I've actually been against this system for all my life, especially since I started getting into school and teaching. I was like, dude, it's so much easier to do metric than it is to Like we're not doing it. We're still counting and stuff. But I hate when we get to the point later in the school year we have to measure with rulers. Not like because it shouldn't be tough, but it is tough for these kids. And then they have to like try and convert stuff. We have to use benchmarks to like convert it because they struggle so much to understand it. It's just you just want to beat your head against the wall, dude.
When you sit there and think about it, like, man, I'm all for the freedoms that we have in America. Go USA. Not saying I'm bashing the United States in certain things, but essentially we're kind of our standard customary system of measurements is very much like the fact that they were like, you're going to follow this religion, you're going to listen, and they're like, no, we're not. And we're going to, and we go and find a new country, and they're like, we're not, we do it like this, and they're like, no, we're not going to do it. Why not? Why not just make it easier?
Yeah, the craziest thing, and I didn't even think about it to like look it up. Sorry to cut you off, dude. As far as when I remember a couple of years ago, there was like 3 countries in the world that use the customary system, right? It's us and like 2 third world countries. That alone should tell you, damn, maybe we made a mistake, But it's just funny how they do that skit. There'll be like when he talks about the temperatures, there'll be 2 temperatures, one that'll make sense to everybody, and one that's super random. We will use the random one, where people have to be like, "What, dude?" When I was over in Europe, and they'd be like, I'd ask what temperature is, and they'd be like 24 Celsius, and I'd be like, "What?" Like, what is that? Like, it's like 32 times 2 plus 20. I'd just be like, "Is that warm or not?" You have to walk outside and be like, "Okay, I can wear shorts."
It just makes sense. Like 0 degrees is freezing.
Yeah, instead of 32.
Unless it's 32. Like, I wonder who was sitting there with these guys when they came over. They were like, but it's cold. It's zero freezing. 32.
It's like what? Well, that's why why that skit was so funny. He's like, I want 2,000 pounds to be called a ton. What about 1,000 pounds? Nothing. Don't you think we should have a word for 1,000 pounds? And yet we won't.
And it's like, it doesn't make none of it makes sense. And yet we roll with it. Like, yeah.
Look at 5,280 feet in a mile, of course. It's so simple.
I never everyone will remember 5,280 feet.
Now anyway, that was just to me that's a classic. I listen to it like almost every one. That gets me revved up to teach school, man. It's like let me just laugh at our math system.
Here we go, guys. You ready to learn some fun nonsense about stuff? Let's rock. Water boils at 100 degrees Celsius, but nobody even knows where it boils in Fahrenheit.
It's 212. I actually know that one.
It is?
Yeah,
that makes sense too. 212.
What the? But all right. Anyway, let's go ahead and take a quick break and come back and wrap it up with all this Reuben fun. All right?
Yes, sir.
All right, welcome back. It's one of your favorite times, one of my favorite times of the episodes.
Oh, dude, okay. I'm just not going to do any sort of accents, though. Like, because I feel bad that I never figure out the Barbado and I don't even know if it's Barbadian or Barbades. It's probably like Barbado.
Could be. We
should have. We're not listening to your show anymore.
We ever like film this live? We should have like a map after some fun time and see if you can locate these spots like on the map.
Like, did you ever watch Where in the World Was Carmen Sandiego when you were a kid? Like the
game show?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that game show.
And I was like, they would be like in like Africa or Asia to like the final thing, and I'd be like, I can kind of know some of these. And then everyone was like United States. I'm like, got this.
Yeah.
Unless it was like the East Coast, that it was like kind of like when you got like Ohio, Massachusetts stuff in there. I'm like, I'm not sure. I got like 50. There's 40. I got 43 out of the 50.
Like the U.S. one, I was always good on. You're right, but if they went to Africa, I was like, I don't know. It's like, I don't know.
I'm like, where is that one? Where is it? Let me figure it out with Timmy.
All right. So we'll say cheers for every country, and then we take our toast.
Yep.
All right. So Germany.
Prost.
Excuse me. South Korea. Gunbei. Brazil. Saudi. Excuse me again. England. Cheers, mate.
How much have you had to drink? Australia.
Cheers, mate. Barbados.
Cheers.
French Canada. I'll go Santé.
And then the English Canadians.
Cheers, you hoser. Colombia. Salute. Philippines. Sagay. And Norway. Skull.
You know what I just realized too right now? Like it's like one of those things when you read the book and you watch a movie over and over and you notice new things every single time. For you have French Canada, and so like you have like the term for like whatever their cheers word is in the country. And you get down to French Canada and you have Santé or Ata Santé, and then the next actual country you have is you effing hoser. So it's not actually.
Yeah, I didn't put Canada as a typo, man. Typo.
So it's like it's all technically. So in the country of you effing hoser, they say cheers.
I just need to add a little tab that says .Canada, right?
That's why I'm just like I just noticed that right now. I don't know why I never noticed it. Kind of like the fact that I noticed that, like the only real I do accents in like half of them, and the other half of them all. Let's go.
Let's fix that now, so Choey isn't upset anymore.
We're editing in the show.
The show. Hey, I've already kind of sent you these screenshots, but remember this was, for our flat Choey and Jandler.
Yeah.
Here's one with the beer mugs. This one's not gonna load, is it? Oh, this is the one. This one had a pop top, but it kind of looked like we're friendly sodas. Yeah, it's psychedelic soda, and then. This one, just the beer with the neon sign. I had one teacher said she liked that, right? She's the one that's going to help me. But most people, when I send it to people, they seem to like what you did. Or like what you liked, right? They're like, yeah, I get that one. So
why is it that you just don't go with what? Like I'm natural here, man. I'm perfect. I'm beautiful.
What do you mean? What do you mean? What are you talking about?
You were like, I kept asking everybody, and they kept going back to the one you picked.
Oh, well, because you didn't get back to me the first time I asked you, so I was like taking other people's input.
I have things I have to do. I don't just sit there waiting for you to send me a text or something.
It's like it's been a while. When's this joke coming in?
It's like I'm like, oh, happy day. He sent me another text. My life has meaning.
All right, everybody, come on down to Joking with Jans. That's right, here's a game show that you can play at home and try and test your knowledge and see how many more you get correct than incorrect. So stick around and have fun and laugh listening to Joking with Jans. All right, so like I said, I want to do some more on this edition of Joking with Jans. I want to do some more Reuben fun, right? Since it is International Reuben Day, right?
Yeah.
So
we can have a Reuben.
Some famous Reubens, right? This, sir, is Reuben Goldthwait, an American librarian and historical writer. Looks like he's from the early, was it 20th century? The 1900s. Here is Reuben James. I do know this name because it was the name of a Navy ship, the famous Navy hero.
Which one is he in the picture?
I think he's the guy on the bottom.
Looks like he's getting killed.
Yeah, but he's fighting back, I think. Or he's the guy at the top. I'm thinking because Reuben James was like he was like a naval officer. So that looks like a naval officer
on the bottom.
I think he's got a gun in his right hand though, or the knife is to his face.
Like this is the picture of Reuben James right before he became famous because now he's
right. We also got Reuben Henderson, a cornerback for the Bears and Chargers in the early 80s. When I put his photo on there, and I was looking earlier today, Reuben Jones used to play for my Broncos. He was like a fullback, I think, and I was like, I didn't think of that guy.
That guy right there is a cornerback?
Back in the day, he's a big guy, you know?
He looks like he ate the cornerback.
You're like, you don't want to get this guy, Reuben Gantz. No, he played a receiver tight end from 1974 to 1980 for the Bills. Those 4 Reubens I've never heard of, but this next Reuben, I think you have, sir. You know who this is? Paul Reubens.
When I was trying to find that little GIF of Reuben Pfeffer dancing, that's like all that I found on the phone. Like, I was like, okay, I get it. I was like, I don't know if he'll get. I was like, I don't know if Jandler would get it. They sent over and it's like, oh,
I'd get Pee Wee Herman. I remember, like, even though that show annoyed me, I used to remember watching it all the time on Saturdays. You know. And
I remember I would do like the foil ball every once in a while, and then my parents would throw it away because it was always gross because it was always like used pieces of foil.
Yeah.
It was nasty.
Who was the famous mailman on there? Was it Morpheus? There was somebody on there. There was somebody on that show that turned out to be like a big time actor, and I can't remember who it was. Now I gotta look it up. But
there was like got their start on Pete.
There was somebody. Cause you remember I had like the mailman? You know, the mailman that would deliver his mail for the show, or whatever. That guy was like somebody. I think it was that guy. I saw there was some big actor or whatever that ended up being on. I can't remember if it was Lawrence Fishburne or if it was somebody else. But and then any idea what the most famous Reuben that I found online is?
I have no idea, sir.
All right, the suspense is killing you, Choey. It is the
seriously
Reuben sandwich. You can get those at. By the way, my friend told me, she's like, I don't even think Ruby Tuesdays are still open. I was like, they're open for Reuben. You just go there and say, my name's Reuben. They'll come in.
I'm looking it up on Wikipedia. According to Wikipedia, Phil Hartman, Captain Carl, whatever that guy was.
Oh, Phil Hartman was on the Pee Wee Herman show, huh?
Yeah. I don't recognize anybody else's names.
It was him. All right. Maybe that was the guy. I know there was somebody famous on that show, and I was like, what? So.
There's the production cast. Okay, that doesn't make any sense because it's production cast from 2009 to 2010. I don't think that was whenever the Pee Wee Herman show that we grew up with. Because I'm like, oh, Josh Myers. I'm like, no, there's no way. That's not I'm like, not the right one.
All right. So, hey, we're going to play a game. 2 truths, 1 lie, right? So, I'll stop sharing this so I can read it to you. Because maybe if you look at it, you might be like, oh, I know that too easily. But I'm going to read 3 things, right?
Okay.
About a famous Reuben. You try and then after I'm done, you tell me what you think is the lie, okay? Sound cool, man?
Maybe.
All right. You're like, ruining the game, sir. All right. The world's greatest Reubens is a sandwich place in Ohio that's been around for over 100 years. Or one of the best chess players in the world is named Reuben. Or the Reuben sandwich was invented by Charlie Chaplin.
I'm going to say the lie is the Charlie Chaplin one.
All right, you're close. Yeah, I twisted it around. It was actually, according to one of the stories, it was invented by an actor or actress that worked with Charlie Chaplin, who I guess became more famous for the sandwich than her acting ability. So, or her acting credits, I should say, not her ability. So, but still, I think that's nice to keep in mind. Like for Reubens, there's a lot of stuff out there. You know, have you ever had a Reuben sandwich?
I have not.
I think I had one years ago, like maybe right after I got out of high school. I
obviously it was that good.
Yeah, well, cause it's rye bread, which isn't really my thing.
Yeah.
Because that's to me, I feel like it's too dry. But it was the corned beef. I wasn't a fan of the corned beef and the sauerkraut. You know, that's just. But I'd never liked sauerkraut. That's just not my thing. You know. You're a sauerkraut?
I mean, I've had it. It's like one of those things. Like when I was younger, I couldn't. It was just gross. And now I can eat it. But
yeah,
I'm not seeking it out. Like if it's there, I'll eat it so that way I don't hurt somebody's feelings. But
I think I got more enjoyment out of the pickle, you know, and I was just like, hey.
I imagine you like when we had the non-alcoholic beer. Like,
yeah.
in the pickle, you're all,
Pickle, yeah.
So, why are you being a sissy and not drinking the damn beer? And I'm like, what do you think he's doing in the restroom? Pouring it out.
I just heard walking out, and you're like, and every y'all were looking at me, and I was like, Thor.
And I wouldn't have said anything had he not come at me and been like, "What's wrong with you?" I'm like, "I can taste the gas. Like it's gross. like I'm not drinking anymore of it. Like, well, there's no point. We're not getting any benefit. I'm not getting the buzz. It's just drinking stuff."
I always, to me, it's funny. Like some of the stuff we did when we were younger, when you try to like play it off, you know. Like I was laughing when I was texting you and Marsh yesterday, right?
Yeah.
And we're talking about that story about confronting a friend and about his lies. Yeah. And we had talked about it, everything, and we knew what was going down. And when you confronted him and you turned around, you're like, we're tired of your lies. Isn't that right, guys? And he turned to us and we immediately were like, hey, did you watch The Fugitive last night? And it's like, to me, like I die laughing because it's such a stupid story, but me and him kind of left you hanging. It's like it's something you'd see like on a movie, you know. It was like we planned it, but we didn't. It's just like,
And the thing that like, it wasn't like we were like, hey, we don't want to be friends with you ever again. F off. It was just like, hey, man, stop lying. We know that you're not telling us the truth. You live at home with your parents after you graduated high school for a year. You don't have full rights to all the major sport universities in the country. And he's just like, get out of the house. You're out of the friend group. And I'm like,
I said, you're out of the loop. You're out of the loop.
Yeah, and it's like, what? Like, I'm out of the what? Well, you're out of the loop. We're kicking you out.
that ended up being like a line we've quoted for what, 20 plus years. Oh yeah. Yeah. You're out of the loop.
You're out of the loop.
All right. So the camera's gonna go away here soon, so I'll be reading these to you. So I typed in famous Reuben quotes, and these are some of the things that popped up. I don't know if they're said by anybody named Reuben, but I'm gonna give Reuben credit just because, right? So some days you eat salads and go to the gym, and then some days you eat cupcakes and refuse to put on pants. It's called balance, right? That's attributed to Reuben. And then the other one I laughed too, like, have you ever listened to someone talk for a while and just wondered, who ties your shoelaces, man? You know?
Yeah.
How do you get to work each day? Like, how do you pay your bills?
Yeah. There's sometimes you talk, people are talking, and I'm like, what? I'm like, who put you in charge?
Anyway, so that'll wrap it up here, and we'll obviously be back for our little Thanksgiving edition. I'll go ahead and do the what do you call it? The social media plug, since you've been doing it a lot lately. So be sure to look for us on TikTok, what was normally or used to be called Twitter, now X, Instagram, even Threads, at Choey and Jan, Choey, the letter N, Jan. Dude, I got the stuff ready for YouTube. I'm gonna put it on this weekend, get us caught back up. We're still there on Facebook and MySpace, technically, but there's nothing on MySpace, right? And we need Facebook friends. But somehow I got it set up. You ever do stuff that you don't really understand how you set it up? Because I've done that, right? Where I got our Threads, and so anytime I post something on the Threads, it automatically goes to my Facebook. Not our Facebook, but my personal Facebook, and I'm like, oh, hey, it's Choey and Jandler. They messaged something, and I was like, those guys are awesome.
So it goes to your thing. And you're like, what the?
Yeah, I'm always amazed by it too. I'm like, how did I get this? And then I'll be, oh yeah, that's right. It's like that was on me. That one's on me. So
yeah.
All right, dude. You call it a wraps for the episode?
Sounds good to me.
All right, man. Enjoy your 2 hours of work tomorrow.
It's 4. It's 4.
Okay.